Jeff Gibbons here with another video, and in this one I'm going to be going over the new expansions for Massive X. These just came out, and if you buy all three you get them at a discount, and if you buy Massive X you get them for free. And these patches are great, and they do tap into some of the deep features that make Massive X special. So I will show you a little bit about the performers in this one, and I will make a future video on really how to program stuff in the performer. And then I'll also just walk you through the patches, show you some of my favorite patches, show you what the different expansions look like, and then I'll also show you a few song ideas that have some patches from each of these expansions. So let's get right into it and see what we got. So the first one I'm going to show you here is made with Rush. Okay, I should mention also that I am using Ignition Code as the drums for this video, and Ignition Code is an expansion that just came out. Let's have a look at how to find the patches in Massive X. You have to click the browser, click this little button right here, and we can find the patches, and we can see our different expansions that show up over on the left-hand side once you install them. Click on them and then go, okay, show me all the bass patches in scene, right? Yeah, not ideal at all. So the way we can get around that, of course, is to use Complete Control or Machine. So I'm just going to load up a new instrument here, go to the browser, go to Instruments, and then I'm on Massive X right there. And then I can see Massive X, but then I can see my different expansions show up right here. So I can go through the different libraries, and then my three new expansions right here. So if I go to Rush, I can now see the 150 different patches. And Rush, I'm going to say it right now, is probably my favorite one. I've got 32 bass patches, 10 piano keys, lots of synth leads, synth miscellaneous 34. And then of course the best part about that is you can now just use the pre here to hear a sample of each patch. So let's just go through and listen to some of these patches. So we do have a couple of keyboards in here which we don't have in the other ones. And then every single patch, if you click the plugin button there, you're going to find these macros, and all of the macros are wisely chosen, and they do some interesting stuff. Don't forget, if you want to see the Massive plugin, just click the plugin button right here, make sure you're on sound, and then hit Shift Edit, and it'll pop up. So that's a way to get the virtual instrument to pop up. And let's load up some other patches. Let's just check out the bass patches a little bit here. This one I used for sure, it's beautiful. Let's go to Synth Miscellaneous. This one has some of the best patches in Rush. So this Believe in Harmony patch is a really good example of what the performers are doing. So if I just hold this down, if we click on the performers down here, we can see this sequence pop up. And each one of these things is controlling the jump to the next note. And then if I click on this performer, you'll see that this is kind of the top note. And I can take each of these different steps here and make new notes out of them. So let's take this one up here and see what happens. And then let's take this one. Just a few tips here. I don't want to get too much into this. This is me like an hour-long video on just this stuff. But if I click down here, they're both selected, and I can take this note up by just pushing up. One more semitone. You can see these different tools that let you paint in how you want the note transitions to go. You can delete points just by double-clicking on them. And on this one, this one's kind of showing where the note is being played. We can have up to 12 different patterns with the performers. And there's only a few patches that have this, but this is kind of one of my new favorite features of Massive X. What you can do is you can click this little button right here, and you can see all of the 12 patterns with the 3 different performers right here. They've already made 4 different versions of it. So let's have a listen to what these sound like. And you'll notice on your keyboard, if this little button, this remote button is turned on right here, way down at the bottom of your keyboard, you're going to see like key switches for those 12 different patterns. So we have all 12 patterns right here, and I can switch between them with these keys, just like a key switch patch. So now let's have a listen to this. So let's listen to number 2. And 3. And 4. All right, back to the patches in Rush. I'll show you what I've got in this little tune right here. This Juma kit from Ignition Code, and then I've got called Pumping Up. Got a bass patch. Let's listen to the Tropical Pipes. And then the harp. So for this one, I just literally went through like this, played that in, and then quantized it, tidied it up. It has a very Jean-Michel Jarre sort of feel to me. And then we've got the funky this one I used a chord set, so. So let me show you another one of the expansions. So I'm going to save this as a new version, and that's something I will mention right now. Massive X does not have an undo feature, and to me, I think that's my top request. And then the browser. Because there's so many times you might be working in the little sequencers, the performers, and you do something wrong, or you click somewhere and you accidentally change something, and there's no way to undo it. So what I recommend doing is saving often. An autosave feature in Machine would be sweet too. So let's go look at some of the patches in Scene, and then I'll show you the song. So again, we go Massive X, and then this time I go to Scene. With this one, we've got a lot more of the soundscapes. Like Rush is kind of all about some of those rhythmic patches and basic keys and bass sounds and stuff like that. Scene is more about ambient pads and washes and evolving things. And then Pulse is more about bass patches and monophonic. I think everything in Pulse is monophonic, so we'll have a look at that in a second. So let's have a look at some of the patches in Scene. So some really aggressive bass sounds, not your typical synth bass sound effects. Definitely getting into the intense sound design territory in a lot of these patches as well. So let's look at some of the soundscapes now. This And So one is really neat. If you click the plugin button, go to the sound, we can see that there is a macro named Vangelis, and let's see what that's all about. very, very Blade Runner. So I love the clever name on the macro there. And yeah, all of these macros, again, are just going to do some really cool stuff to the sounds. So that's where you're really going to want to get in there and automate things. Oh, that one's fun. Oh, wow. It almost feels like every patch needs a manual, you know? We need like some kind of write-up on each patch and what we could do with them. Wow. "75 of those soundscape patches in scene, so very heavy on the soundscapes, and some of them sound quite almost atonal, but there are a lot of really beautiful patches in here that would work for ambient type stuff. A lot of like phase modulation kind of sounds. We've even got use that one. So some really beautiful patches in here. So let's see what I've got in this one. Did use the and so patch. So we can see some automation that I've got in there on the Vangelis. Next I've got a cello. This is the Brahm patch, but not the Brahms patch, but the Inception Brahm, I think, and works nicely in there. We got another one. I love that kind of pipey kind of sound. Reminds me of some old, that old synth and reactor. Somebody comment on it if you can remember what that one was called. So I did put a loop from Ignition in there as well. So have a listen to that. And with that loop, I took it, sliced it up in the sampler, and then did some sort of glitchy stuff to it. So let's have a listen to the whole thing here. So you get the idea. I could totally see myself starting to make some more ambient electronic stuff with this kind of library, and it's definitely inspiring. So let's look at the last expansion, which is Pulse. Load that one up, and with this one, monophonic patches exclusively. I don't think I found anything else on there that wasn't monophonic. So let's load up a new patch. Really intriguing. Load that one up. I will say these patches are mostly aggressive. There's some really cool stuff you can do with with the modulation in terms of having it ramp up and then slow down, stuff like that, that I'm going to show you in future videos where we get into those performers and the way you can kind of compress and stretch out modulations. This one's neat. Let's load it up. This one's a little too close to home right now. Okay, let's try this one. This is a fun patch. If I go look at the macros, you get the idea. Some really aggressive patches, but some really cool ones. And just depends on the genre of music, I guess, if that one's going to be for you. Let's have a listen to what I've got here. So I've got a bunch of patches with another kit loaded from Ignition Code. Okay, so that is Pulse, a lot more aggressive. And let me show you one more project here that has Rush in it. I'll just play the tune for you, and then I'll show you a really quick way that you could go and start playing with the performers and sort of tailor them to fit your song. Because the problem is right now with the performers is everybody that gets this expansion is going to have these same little riffs in them. So, I mean, it's cool, whatever, do whatever you want with it. But what you would probably want to do is go and change it up so that you have something original. But for me, it's just a really great way to learn about these performers and learn them from these, you know, master programmers over at Native Instruments. So let's have a listen to this one. So this one was based on one patch, and I think it's, yeah, this one. Really great sound. I love the sliding up of the notes and stuff like that, and these kinds of things would be hard to play and to program with pitch bend, but using these performers in Massive X is what makes this kind of stuff so exciting. So let's have a look at that. So there is our patch. If I click on the performers right here, I can see there are 3 different performers leading to the sound that we're getting right here. So let's play with the notes on this one. So what I could do is click on this little button right here, make sure the remote is on, and then I can see these remote keys on my keyboard. They won't be on if that button isn't on. You won't see it lit up. So I'm going to take this pattern and copy it over here and see what happens. So now we're on slot number 4. Let's trigger slot number 4 with the key and then try playing it. Okay, I'm going to take this over. And then I'm going to take the note information over on P3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start messing around with this. And I can zoom in just by double clicking down here. And then I can stretch this bar out so it's exactly, you know, it's much easier to see. I can also select multiple points. I can just click right in these buttons right here and bring notes down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this point right here, I'm going to bring it down by 1 whole tone, and I'm using this tool right here, this painting tool, and you see this line that pops up. If I click on that line and drag down, we get a sort of scoop up. It looks, instead of linear, it's logarithmic, and we can push the other way. And then let's slide it up like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one over 1 spot. And then if I just want this to be 1 bar long, I can take this little guy right here. You kind of get the idea how this works, but there's a lot of different controls, there's some different key commands, and there's different areas that you need to click. So I will do a future video on that to show you how this works. So let's have a listen to this track one more time. So the last thing I need to mention about these performers is you need to put in a key switch to tell your song or to tell your patch which of these remote slots you want chosen here at the bottom. Right now the C is triggering the first slot and this D sharp is triggering the 4th slot. So if I want that 4th slot to start at the beginning, I just need a note that's drawn in all the way through, just like this one. And then I need to make sure my bottom note is a D sharp if I want the 4th pattern there first. So I've made an intro right here. Let's put the pattern on that one right now, which has the D sharp, and have a listen to that. And then for my chorus, I would want to go back to that other one, which was the C. So you get the idea. Playing with performers, playing with the different patches that come with these new expansions. I am definitely excited about playing with these, and I hope that gives you a good rundown of what you can expect with these expansions. So I'll put some links in the description, and make sure you hit the subscribe button for future videos. I'm just going to be cranking these out over the next few months as I'm stuck at home. Hope you're all staying safe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.